The moment her voice trembled slightly as she spoke, though her gaze held zero remorse, remains vivid in my memory. We sat together at our dining table, the very one we had selected as a couple upon first settling into our home. I had anticipated nothing more than a peaceful evening, perhaps some casual talk about her job frustrations or her recent fitness regimen. But then she placed her fork aside, fixed her eyes on mine, and declared, "I'm moving in with Anthony. We're having a baby together." In that instant, everything around me froze. The woman who had been the center of my entire existence had just, with startling nonchalance, ripped away the very base of our shared life. Initially, I convinced myself this must be some twisted prank. I even let out a chuckle, expecting her to join in, but her expression remained utterly detached and resolute. She was completely serious. It felt as though my heart had crashed against solid pavement. Strangely, the first words out of my mouth weren't about the reasons behind it. Instead, I asked when exactly had the promises we exchanged lost all meaning? When had Anthony, that supposed colleague she called friend, overtaken the role of the husband who had supported her through every hardship? She remained unflinching, in a composed tone. She admitted the affair had stretched on for months and that she had grown exhausted from faking her desire to continue building a future with me. Rage surged inside me. I wanted to erupt to shout, but I held it back. I remained seated, absorbing her confession in near total detachment. This wasn't the dramatic scene from films, with overturned furniture or dramatic exits. I stayed eerily composed, perhaps excessively so. That composure clearly rattled her. She had braced for pleading, tears, desperate efforts to make her stay. But I allowed her statement to linger untouched in the stillness surrounding us. Then came the single question that caused her to falter. And you assumed I would never discover this myself. In that split second, I caught the flash of alarm in her eyes. Because the reality was, I had already uncovered everything about Anthony. The extended office hours, her abrupt emphasis on looking perfect, the constant grip on her phone. I had observed it all. I had even tailed her one evening. And yes, she had headed directly to his place. I had mentally braced for this confrontation, though the actual pain still cut deeply when it arrived. What she failed to anticipate was how far ahead I had planned. She believed she was unleashing devastation, yet she merely validated the puzzle I had already assembled. She attempted to rationalize her actions, insisting Anthony reignited her sense of vitality, providing the focus and excitement she felt had vanished from our relationship. I heard her out without cutting in, though mentally I replayed every sacrifice I made, the extra hours at work, the overtime, the personal dreams postponed so she could enjoy the life she desired. I wasn't flawless, but I had remained faithful. Apparently, faithfulness alone fell short for her. My prolonged quiet must have unnerved her further, because she eventually pressed, "Well, aren't you going to say anything?" That was when I eased back in my chair, met her stare directly, and replied with steady calm, "Good luck, because while you were busy setting up a life with Anthony, I was consulting a lawyer." Her complexion drained of color immediately. She had anticipated devastation, resistance, pleas to salvage things, but I had quietly arranged my departure long before. I laid it out plainly. Evidence of the infidelity had been collected. Divorce documents were almost finalized, and she would receive nothing beyond her strict legal share. Her carefully constructed illusion shattered within moments. Tears came then, not born of genuine remorse, but of dread. Dread that the security and ease I had provided would vanish. Dread that Anthony, whom she viewed as her rescuer, might balk when faced with the actual burdens of parenthood and financial demands. She pleaded for at least a discussion, but I simply shook my head. "You made your decision," I told her. "Now face the consequences." The following weeks passed in a haze. She gathered her belongings and relocated to Anthony's place. I signed the divorce documents without hesitation. Many assume betrayal destroys you completely. Yet for me it brought an unexpected liberation. I had already grieved the end of our marriage well before her confession. By the time she walked out, my focus had shifted forward. Some time later, someone we both knew shared that her relationship with Anthony had lost its shine. The pressures of expenses, obligations, and impending parenthood had hit him hard. Whispers suggested he lacked the dedication she had counted on. None of that shocked me. Guys like Anthony thrive in secrecy, but falter under real daylight. I took no pleasure in hearing it. I simply experienced profound resolution. She had chosen her path, and now she had to endure its reality. Meanwhile, I reconstructed my life. I began anew, reconnected with friends I had drifted from, revived interests I had set aside, and for the first time in ages, I felt genuinely liberated. That response of mine silenced her that evening, yet it also released me. True strength sometimes lies not in clinging desperately to hold someone close, but in recognizing the right moment to release them. And once I let go, I understood I had lost nothing whatsoever. She was the one who had.